An emotional gathering tonight after the shooting death of Utah football player Aaron Lowe.
Describing Aaron's death as shocking is whiteness.
The university's black community comes together with a message about change that has to happen.
Aaron was the type of kid that, we would want to have as our son.
Also tonight, questions are raised about police response time in Salt Lake City and what may have been prevented that night at the house party.
Our next weather maker, a cool front on the way. It looks like it'll bring in some cooler temperatures and a chance of rain. Who gets hit? I'll let you know in the forecast.
A vaccine center is reopened in Davis County, and it already seems to be making a difference.
We have seen people that are very excited to get their booster shots.
New at 9, booster shots already being rolled out, and why many say they are not going to miss the opportunity.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
New tonight, students, faculty, and staff at the University of Utah are grieving after the shooting death of football player Aaron Lowe.
Bob, this evening, members of the university's black community were invited to share their feelings and concerns about gun violence with school and city leaders. Fox 13's John Franke is live at the U with more on this emotional gathering. John.
Well, hey guys, some of the speakers here tonight said they knew Aaron Lowe. The panel included University President Taylor Randall and Salt Lake City Police Chief Mike Brown. The one common theme here, everyone agreeing that something needs to change.
It just kind of hits home. It hits home in various different ways.
This gathering inside the Marriott Library at the University of Utah came together in the hours after Aaron Lowe was shot and killed.
And the tragedy happened in our community. How are we coming together to not only join in healing with each other, but then on top of that, taking proactive action?
Malijah Garfield, the director of the Black Cultural Center on campus,
This is a conversation that we try to bring around.
Is one of the people who helped facilitate the discussion, one that he and the dozens of others in attendance agree needs to happen.
I am asking our campus leadership, especially our white campus leadership, to rise up and do the complex rhetorical work to explicitly bear witness to the ways that blackness matters.
A professor who taught Aaron Lowe shared her grief while asking University President Taylor Randall just how is the university supporting its black community.
Describing Aaron's death as shocking is whiteness. Describing racism, Black Lives Matter, gun violence, and black male deaths generically as issues or social issues or societal troubles is whiteness. The only mention of blackness being the Black Cultural Center is whiteness.
Randall pledged to listen and take action.
And I think what I would like to learn through this is how we can change those messages and how we can be a part of the healing.
As the discussion came to a close, Salt Lake City Police Chief Mike Brown fought back tears as he affirmed the department stands with the black community.
We need to acknowledge the past. Excuse me. We need to commit to do better. And we need to move forward with intentionality, all of us.
This was a time to listen, to lean on a shoulder and find healing. But what happens next could be most important.
I feel like we talk to check a box. We can't do that anymore.
And a vigil is being planned for here Wednesday night to celebrate the life of Aaron Lowe. The final details are being worked out right now. Reporting live at the U tonight, John Franke, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Tonight, we are learning more about Aaron Lowe off the field. Also, more disturbing details about the shooting, including the delayed police response.
Fox 13's Eliana Sheriff reports on Lowe's life and why some people are questioning whether his death could have been prevented.
Aaron was the type of kid that, we would want to have as our son.
Aaron Lowe was not only a star on the field, he also did theater in high school.
He took Theater 1. Actually, he and Ty both did. They weren't in the same class. I've been teaching for 22 years, and Aaron is
one of the best students we've had in a long time.
Now, people like Ryan Burke, who knew Aaron on a personal level, are mourning this young man's life taken so soon. Some are wondering, could this have been prevented if police had responded sooner?
Noise complaints are something that we've always responded to.
But on this particular night, even after 6 calls were made to police, no one showed up.
As they can respond to those noise complaints, they do. But again, our #1 focus is on those in-progress emergencies.
Several hours later, police showed up, but only after it got violent. Police confirm at least 1 officer was on scene once the weapons call was made and before the call of gunshots. However, they were staged nearby, waiting for backup.
The second that this noise complaint elevated to a fight with a weapon, it was immediately dispatched. It was elevated to an in-progress emergency.
In the past, police have had dedicated patrol to focus on noise complaints. However, this year, due to funding challenges, they did not activate those patrols. Still, police say those are only used during the summer months, so it would not have made a difference in this incident. Right now, there are 51 vacancies in the department, and currently they have 518 officers. They're authorized to staff a total of 569.
And this is actually an improvement from back in May when the department was short about 80 officers. Reporting from Salt Lake City Police Headquarters, Eliana Sheriff, Fox 13 News, Utah.
There was another victim in that shooting, a woman who has not yet been identified. I reached out to the Salt Lake City Police Department tonight to get an update on her condition. They tell me she was sent to the hospital in critical condition early Sunday morning, but tonight she is stable and expected to recover.
Fox 13 News spoke with a man who met Lowe just moments before he died. Jabari visited the memorial this morning where Lowe was killed. He says he was in town visiting a relative who lives across the street from where the party was. Jabari says he wound up chatting with Lowe as they were trying to get a handle on all the uninvited guests who had arrived.
He told me his position and all that. He was explaining it to me. Now that I realize, he was explaining to me that he switched his number for, I guess, Ty Jordan. He switched his number in honor of him. So, I mean, that's all I really know of the guy.
Jabari says this was a players-only party. He, along with other people there, were trying to figure out who did not belong at the party and began trying to get people to leave before the shooting.
Over the past 3 days, more than 13,000 COVID-19 shots went into the arms of Utahns. Starting today, that count will include booster shots now being administered at the Legacy Events Center in Farmington.
The Davis County Health Department reopened vaccine operations at the event center today.
And that's where we find Fox 13's Spencer Joseph tonight. Hi, Spencer.
Hi, good evening. Yeah, it was a packed house tonight. A lot of people jumping on that opportunity on the very first day to get their shots. I spoke with those who were getting that 3rd booster shot about what it meant to them.
All right, here we go, Eloise.
Cars are again coming through the doors of the Legacy Event Center for their vaccines. But this time for round number 3.
I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get COVID.
This is Eloise.
Well, it's the first day. So you guys are one of the first to get it done. Congratulations.
And together with her husband, Steve, they jumped on the chance on day number 1.
It's easy to get, so why not just go ahead and get it shot and get it over with?
Yeah, it's nice to be able to drive right through it and the whole thing. A lot better than some of these places that people wait for hours and in line for it.
His birthday's next week and I wanted to go someplace and I thought, I don't know if I want to go there, but I feel better if he's at his 3rd shot.
Thank you. All right, thanks.
Especially this first day, we have seen people that are very excited to get their booster shots.
The health department couldn't be happier with the vaccine distribution, but it's also hard work. So far, they've given over 242,000 doses, reaching just over 53% of the county fully vaccinated.
I think this whole pandemic, we have done our best to try to look at the data and see exactly where we're going. And it is hard.
Right now, boosters are only available to those who had doses 1 and 2 of the Pfizer vaccine and are 65 years or older, or you're 18 years or older with underlying medical conditions, work in high-risk settings, or live in high-risk settings. But in Davis County, there's one more thing you'll need: an appointment.
It just helps run a lot smoother, so we're not getting the big bumps, the big pushes where we're getting a bunch of people at the same time.
You're good with your right arm?
So as more and more and more cars continue to make their way through the newly opened clinic.
All right, so we're going to have you wait out in the parking lot for 15 minutes.
Day one is a success, and patients are on their way to even further immunity from COVID-19.
That is genuinely what we're seeing today, is people that are very grateful to come down and get their boosters from our location.
So the hours for the Legacy Event Center are a little bit strange to start off with. That's because in the morning they're training people to give shots into arms. They lost a lot of those workers when they closed down the first time. Now they're training new people to do it for the second. So there is a little bit of a smaller window than maybe you'd be used to if you got your shot here before. But that being said, there still are a lot of appointments open. You can find out where to book those appointments on fox13now.com. Live in Farmington, Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Quit hiding in your homes like cowards and come out and face the music.
The search for Brian Laundrie is about to enter its second week. What investigators are focusing on now as they chase after the boyfriend of Gabby Petito.
I have pursued many sexual predators. Of all the predators that I have pursued, however, Mr. Kelly is the worst.
And the fate of disgraced R&B singer R. Kelly, charged on numerous counts of sex trafficking and racketeering.
Plus, how Utah Senator Mike Lee is trying to help downwinders impacted by nuclear testing decades after the end of the Cold War.
And students in the Davis School District are giving back to a beloved employee in a positively Utah way.
Today was Jazz Media Day. Coming up, we'll hear from the team as they get ready to make another run at an NBA championship.
It has been nearly 2 weeks since Brian Laundrie was last seen or heard from.
The FBI has now taken over the search for Gabby Petito's boyfriend at the 25,000-acre Carlton Wildlife Reserve in Florida. Now, the operation is scaled back this week, but investigators believe lower water levels will help them access areas that were previously just too difficult to reach.
The police aren't sharing everything because they're working off leads. The reason why they're in this park is because that is the last known place he was.
And new tonight, Fox 13 just learned Gabby's parents and step-parents plan to speak publicly to reporters tomorrow at a news conference in New York. Now, it's not yet clear what they'll discuss, but it will be the first time the four will speak together publicly since Gabby disappeared. That conference starts at 11 a.m. tomorrow, Mountain Time. Meanwhile, Moab Police Chief Brett Edge is taking family leave.
A Moab City spokeswoman, I should say, says it took effect today, that leave did. She would not say more than that. The Moab Times Independent newspaper broke the story. It's reporting Mayor Emily Niehaus won't elaborate on why Chief Edge is stepping away either.
Well, Moab police have been under scrutiny. How officers responded in August to a report of a domestic assault between Laundrie and Petito. A witness reported Laundrie struck Petito, but Moab police determined she was the aggressor. Officers did not cite or arrest either party. Chief Edge did issue a statement last week saying an outside agency would review how police handled the case.
In national news, a federal jury found disgraced R&B superstar R. Kelly guilty today of all charges against him, including racketeering and sex trafficking.
Kelly faced a total of 9 counts, 1 count of racketeering with 14 underlying acts that included sexual exploitation of a child, kidnapping, bribery, and sex trafficking.
This conviction would not have been possible without the bravery and resilience of R. Kelly's victims. I applaud their courage in revealing in open court the painful, intimate, and horrific details of their lives with him.
The verdict came 13 years after Kelly was acquitted of child pornography charges in a trial in Illinois. Kelly could face decades in prison. Sentencing is set for next May.
The man who shot President Ronald Reagan in 1981 is on track to be free of all restrictions next June. The Justice Department has reached a deal with John Hinckley Jr. for an unconditional release. Now, he has been out of a mental hospital since 2016 and is currently under strict conditions, including restrictions on his movements and internet activity. The agreement to remove those restrictions still needs a judge's approval.
If you take this fire line, it was going to stretch from Oregon to Mexico. That's a lot to patrol, but we're in there doing the best we can.
After several months, the massive Dixie fire in Northern California is now almost 95% contained. It started back in July when a tree fell on an electrical line. The wildfire scorched 3 national parks and forests in 5 counties, charring 963,000 acres. It is the second largest wildfire in California history and the source of the smoke we've been seeing here in Utah. Well, listen to this. Today's children will likely experience more heat waves and other extreme weather than their grandparents
Wow,
did.
and it's a significant difference here. This is according to a study published in the journal Science. Researchers looked at current international climate policies and estimated how many extreme weather events today's children will see during their lifetime. A child who was born in 2014 will likely see 3 times as many floods and 36 times more heat waves than someone born in 1960.
Well, that's really saying something.
It really is. Well, of course, as we look here in Utah just this summer,
yeah,
we looked at heat wave and the flooding. We've gone all over the board here with extreme weather events.
And the heat continues here the very last week of September.
It really has, yeah. Temperatures almost tying records today here across northern Utah. Once again, well above normal. Feeling the heat, it feels like summer. Even though the leaves are changing color, it looks like fall. We'll get more in line with temperatures due to a cool front that's going to make its move here across the state for tomorrow. But today, we got up to 88 degrees in Salt Lake City. You can see the record set back in 1969 at 91 degrees. On average, we should be in the mid-70s. We'll get 70s. We got to go below average before we kind of allow things to settle in here as we look at highs across the state well above normal, anywhere between 10 to 15 degrees above normal, but 80s in Logan all the way through Provo over towards northeastern Utah, upper 80s in Milford. We didn't make it into the 90s in St. George. You've been seeing some clouds and even a few threatening showers surrounding southern Utah. Currently, though, we're in 73 degrees in Salt Lake City, mid-60s in Provo. We show you the air quality. We have been seeing diminishing air quality, especially waking up this morning with more smoke in place here across northern Utah. Areas of the biggest concern is Cache County, and looking at some of the Wasatch back as we go through Ogden Valley down towards Park City. We're seeing more orange, moving to the unhealthy category. For the Wasatch Front, looks like mainly yellow, moderate concern levels, except Utah County a little bit better. And across the south, we're good to go. But it's western, northern Utah, and really near the Utah-Idaho border, we're seeing that poor air quality. And as I said, conditions look to get worse before they get better because we're not focusing on the Dixie fire, but fires that are burning through central and southern California, we're tapping into now. That smoke under the southwest flow. So you see these colors that are brighter here, that's thicker smoke. And look what happens here as we go over the next 12 hours. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., we're seeing thicker smoke, southern end of the Wasatch Front towards some of the Wasatch back in central Utah. Good news, though, cool front moves through, coming in from the west-northwest. It pushes the smoke over towards eastern Utah, and then it will begin to exit the state by Wednesday. So as we'll see, air quality a little poor for tomorrow. Improvements quickly expected as we look towards tomorrow night into Wednesday. So we'll get some better conditions there, but as we're in the moderate concern, tomorrow morning really unhealthy, but then improvements as we head into Wednesday. Now, we have a disturbance, a low-pressure system off towards the southeast. It continues to supply some moisture, and we've been seeing some threats of some thunderstorms. Raleigh, as you can see right now, just west of Cedar City, a few isolated showers. This should taper off, though, fairly quickly. Northern Utah, we keep it clear, but it's hazy, smoky skies here for tonight. There's the cool front. It gets here tomorrow early afternoon, so we're going to see a possibility of some scattered rain showers across the state. This is not a big precipitation producer, but to overnight, From tomorrow night through Wednesday morning, we could see some rain along the Wasatch Front. Not tonight, though. We've got the smoky skies, southern Utah, a few isolated showers that taper off after midnight. Tomorrow at central Utah with some scattered rain and some cooler temperatures. We start to see that drop, especially throughout the afternoon. So we'll see those temperatures and highs kind of around the noon hour, and then temperatures will continue to fall throughout the afternoon. Now for St. George, we're going to see some scattered rain Tuesday, Wednesday, as we'll see cooler temperatures. Climbing back for the weekend, though, we're seeing the sunshine and temperatures returning to near 90 degrees. Northern Utah, low 70s. Then we go into the 60s. A chance of some rain again tomorrow night through Wednesday morning. Then it's dry thereafter. It's sunny, and we get back more in line with fall-like temperatures and some pleasant weather for the weekend.
Breck, nice 7-day. Thanks so much. Still ahead, Instagram for kids now on hold. We'll explain why, plus how Utah's Attorney General may have had a role in stopping it in its tracks.
The family of a man shot and killed by police wants a federal appeals court to revive their lawsuit.
Welcome back, everyone. In tonight's Money Watch, Instagram is putting plans on hold for an app for users very young, under 13 years old.
This comes after a bombshell report from the Wall Street Journal showed company leaders knew about the app's negative impact on the mental health of young people, especially teen girls. Earlier this year, Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes joined the effort to stop the Instagram for Kids app from being released. Instagram has defended the app, saying it builds social connections.
United Airlines is paying big for frequent delays. The airline has been fined nearly $2 million for 24 incidents in which passengers were forced to remain on a plane during a long delay. It is the largest fine of its kind in U.S. history. United says those incidents represent just a small percentage of its overall business.
The major U.S. stock indexes turned in a mixed performance today as stocks closely tied to the economy got a boost, while shares of technology and other growth firms slipped. The Dow gained 71 to close at 34,869. The Nasdaq lost 78, and the S&P dropped 12.
Coming up after the break.
A bus driver for the Alpine School District out of a job after disturbing signs posted inside the bus caught the attention of parents.
This is not the place to put forward these ideas. He does not have the authority to be teaching this stuff.
We'll show you what those signs said.
A federal appeals court is asked to revive a lawsuit over a Salt Lake City police shooting.
We'll hear from the Jazz at today's Media Day, plus the Cougars and Aggies as they get ready to battle for the O-Wagon win.
Some high school students put their real-world skills to work.
This is like something that I could have probably never obtained on my own.
The brand new house they built for someone who needed a helping hand.
An Alpine School District bus driver is out of a job tonight. Parents and students say he put up signs on the inside of his bus and made announcements they found troubling.
Fox 13's Lauren Steinbrecher shows us what those signs said.
Buses take Pleasant Grove High School students home, part of the day's routine, and usually part of Hayden McCollum's routine, which includes the driver, he says, making announcements over the intercom to all the students, but not announcements you'd expect.
Every other day or so, up until recently, and he would just talk about recent political stuff like Afghanistan and how much he didn't like Joe Biden and political stuff.
Hayden and his friends also look at posters all around the bus he says have been up since the beginning of the school year. Some funny, some they found problematic.
People didn't like them, especially the minorities that some of them mentioned.
An unborn child is a child. Children do best when raised by a mother and a father. And there is a difference between boys and girls.
Hayden's mom, Jordan McCollum, is reading what some of those signs said. Signs she didn't know her son looked at every day. Until another parent, Jeff Case, found out from his daughter who rode the bus the first time last week.
And there was a lot of political commentary about gun rights and abortion law and some anti-LGBTQ messaging as well. That was particularly upsetting to my kid and their friends. It should not be inside of a school bus. This is not the place to put forward these ideas. He does not have the authority to be teaching this stuff.
We have children who've been seeing this every day for how long? And we haven't had the opportunity to present both sides or to talk about how these things might align or not with our values and our values for society.
Jeff called the transportation office Friday and they said they'd look into it. Hayden says the driver picked them up, signs and all, Monday morning. Hours later, the Alpine School District released this statement saying Alpine School District has concluded an investigation regarding concerns with the bus driver. Although the details of a personnel investigation are confidential, the driver involved is no longer an employee of Alpine School District. Here on out, Hayden's routine will be a little different, one you might expect on a school bus instead.
I'm sure memes that are just funny memes that teenagers would understand would be fine to put up, but the religious and political stuff, I wouldn't want that on a school bus either.
In Pleasant Grove, Lauren Steinbrecher, Fox 13 News, Utah.
There is a new wildfire in Uintah County tonight. It's being called the Stuart Lake Fire. You can see the plume of smoke in these pictures. It's estimated to have burned about 300 acres now. Structures were initially threatened, but fire behavior is minimal now. We will, of course, keep you updated on the fire as we learn more.
Right now, a man is in jail in connection with a deadly shooting in Beaver County. This happened at a home in Minersville at about 2 o'clock on Saturday morning. Court documents indicate 25-year-old Mike Miller told deputies he shot the 38-year-old man in self-defense while trying to protect someone else from what he thought was signs of domestic violence. Investigators determined there was no immediate threat of death or serious injury that would warrant such a shooting. The deputies booked Miller into jail on suspicion of murder.
The family of a man who was shot and killed by a Salt Lake City police officer is asking a federal appeals court to revive their lawsuit. Patrick Harmon's family took their case to the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in Denver.
Fox 13's Ben Winslow reports on the arguments.
We'll turn to state of Harmon versus Salt Lake City.
Patrick Harmon's family is suing over his death in 2017 by Salt Lake City police.
Patrick, you already know about your warrant, right?
Police claim Harmon pulled a knife on officers and was shot, but the family says he wasn't holding any weapon. The shooting prompted protests against the Salt Lake City Police Department. A federal judge threw out most of the family's excessive force lawsuit.
They erroneously determined that Mr. Harmon posed a serious threat.
The family has now appealed to the 10th Circuit Court in Denver, asking their lawsuit be revived and be sent back for a Utah jury to decide. The video of the shooting was a key part of the recent arguments.
The unescapable inference from these allegations is that Mr. Harmon did not pose a serious and immediate threat to the officers the moment he was shot and killed,
including claims of whether Harmon was armed with a weapon, as police claim.
As I saw the video, they never ordered him to drop anything. And the only statement that was audible was the officer yelling, "I'll effing shoot you."
But the attorney for Salt Lake City Police argued it's what a reasonable officer would see as a threat.
Officer Fox was faced with circumstances in which, during an arrest for a second-degree felony, Mr. Harmon begged the officers to let him go free. He then broke free while being handcuffed. He pushed an officer to the ground as he fled, and then he stopped fleeing and turned back toward the officers with what reasonably appeared to be, and was in fact, a knife.
In their questioning, the judges appeared to be somewhat skeptical.
Even if he pushed him, I'll give you that. 3 officers, a single guy on a bicycle, they get into a scuffle. They don't tell him to drop anything. Nobody, I couldn't see anything in the video. And he says, "I'm going to shoot you." And he does. Now, is that just standard operating procedure in Salt Lake?
No, Your Honor. The court's inquiry here is the totality of the circumstances, as the court is well aware.
The 10th Circuit Court took the case under advisement with no time frame for a ruling, but another part of the Harmon family's lawsuit against Salt Lake Police moves forward, alleging racial bias. In Salt Lake City, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Utahns are using a smartphone app to track their emotions. Coming up, Fox 13 News takes a deep dive into what the data is revealing about our mental health.
As we go to break, another photo coming in from a viewer, Michael Bowman up Big Cottonwood Canyon, Butler Fork. This looks like a painting, gorgeous fall colors. We're going to see a big drop in temperatures becoming more fall-like. Remember, a week ago, we had that cool front. We were concerned with freezes and concerned with your tomatoes. Will we find a repeat for tomorrow's cool front? I'll let you know after the break.
Welcome back. Utah Senator Mike Lee introduced the Downwinders Act in the Senate today. It would renew protections passed in 1990 for Utahns suffering from cancer and other diseases caused by fallout from above-ground nuclear testing in the 1950s and 60s. It was set to expire next summer. The bill would also expand eligibility to more people affected by nuclear testing. Utah Congressman Burgess Owens introduced a similar measure in the House last week.
Some good news here. A Provo police officer who was shot last February returned to patrol today. Officer John Oseguera was shot twice in the leg. He had been responding to a call of a suspicious man in a Provo neighborhood. The suspect, Keith Justin Taylor, was also hurt. He was later charged with attempted homicide. Provo police say Oseguera stayed positive throughout his months of recovery.
People behind the crisis intervention app Safe UT are sharing the latest statistics on student mental health over the last year. In its annual report, they found there was an increase in people reaching out for mental health support over the last year, specifically with anxiety and depression. A lot of those feelings were brought on by stress. The report also found that as COVID-19 cases started to rise, so did anxiety levels among app users.
Well, the state of Utah is making sure teachers and students have the tools they need to stay safe from COVID-19 and other germs as we all head into the cold and flu season. Today, Utah Governor Spencer Cox and doTERRA President David Sterling, they announced they're handing out 1 million hand sanitizing wipes in partnership with the State Board of Education. The distribution of the wipes kicks off with 800,000 of them going to Davis, Canyons, Granite, and Jordan school districts.
Still ahead, the unique way one Davis School District employee is getting a house, and the positively Utah way students are pitching in.
And coming up in sports, we'll hear from the Jazz at today's Media Day. And Kalani Sitake and Blake Anderson on the BYU-Utah State matchup. Plus, it's a great night for Dalton Schultz. The former Bingham Miner made some big plays for the Cowboys. The highlights are on the way.
3rd and 1.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us for Fox 13 News at 9. It was another warm day to start the last week of September. It was nice. A little bit increased smoke today. You probably noticed it.
Yep.
And in fact, things are turning. Something's blowing in, a cold front. In fact, could we see snow in the mountains? Meteorologist Breck Bolton has the answer. We all want to know.
Well, listen, a new machine is helping Utah's wildlife and their environment.
It's quite the name here. It sounds mean. It's the Mad Max Shrub Seed Planter. You're looking at it. It is a heavy-duty, multi-purpose machine used to restore and improve landscapes. The Mad Max machine works by planting brush or other plants that provide food and shelter for a variety of animals.
We're planting about 20 acres of, with our machine here, 20 acres of seeded area to kind of see how that compares and how well it works. Because of the development in this valley, this is a very important property for our deer herds and our elk herds. Gives them a place to go in the wintertime and not be disturbed.
While used for planting today, the Mad Max machine can also be used to remove trees or unwanted vegetation. It goes both ways there.
Yeah. Well, some Utah fish will be getting a new home. Least chub, a fish species native to Utah, has been declining over the years. Now it is only found in about 10 counties around the state, and there are those chub right there. In an effort to save the species, state biologists removed 1,000 fish from a pond near the Salt Lake County Jail today to some water near Fairfield to bolster the population there.
It's only found in Utah, and it's listed as a species of greatest conservation need under the Utah Wildlife Action Plan. And it's so rare that it's been petitioned at least a couple of times to be listed under the Endangered Species Act. So obviously it's something that not just we, but other parties, state and federal and private entities, are interested in trying to protect.
DWR hopes with these efforts, the fish will never be put on the endangered list.
Now to a story that is positively Utah. One of the Davis School District's employees is getting a new house thanks to some high school students in a construction management class. The student-built home for Tracy Nickerson was built in partnership with Davis Technology College and the city of Layton. Take a look at that house. It's gorgeous. The city purchased the property and building permits, allowing the district to sell that house at a significantly reduced price.
I have never done something this big. I think the biggest I've done is probably a high school 3 foot by 3 foot model at most. This is by far bigger than 3 foot by 3 foot.
Thank you.
No problem.
No, I just want to say thank you for what you guys did.
No problem.
I'm so appreciative.
I always love helping others no matter what.
Thank you.
And this program that Jeremiah is teaching and Layton High School has provided for us is doing so much for that.
It's a great emotional moment captured there. This isn't the only project, however, these high schoolers are doing. They'll start another home within the next month or two. Best of luck to them.
Impressed with that high school kid. Future is bright. Hey, as we look in the future, forecast-wise, we're going to be looking maybe not so bright, but cooler, as a cool front is going to be pushing through come tomorrow across the state. Right now, we're looking at clear skies, temperatures in the low 70s. Smoke in place, air quality will diminish. We're actually going to bring in more smoke here by tomorrow morning, and then we're going to quickly push it away. So for tomorrow, smoke increases, especially across central and then eastern Utah. As the front sweeps through, it will move that smoke towards eastern Utah. Your air quality come tomorrow evening looks to be poor, but for northern western Utah, we'll see some improvements. Don't worry, eastern Utah will be short-lived as that front does sweep through, bringing in the cooler air, pushing the smoke away. It will bring a chance of some showers across the state, maybe even some thunderstorms, and a big drop in temperatures. Now, with this next storm system, we're confident that we'll see some scattered rain. Not a lot, but we'll see some rain impacting northern central into eastern Utah. Winds, it gets a little breezy, but we don't have any levels as far as moving to an advisory level that we need to make you aware of. Yes, we're going to see a temperature drop, almost a 25-degree swing, and the amount of precipitation a little questionable right now. Models indicating that this storm could be potentially a little bit more robust in that we could see some more rain as we look over the next 24 to 48 hours. Now, we're still holding on to some moisture due to a low pressure system off towards the east. It continues to supply that moisture and even seeing some showers still at this hour moving through Cedar City, exiting areas such as Kanab. That should begin to wind down once we get past midnight. Clear conditions currently, but the chance of rain will increase across the state as this cold front moves through. Let's go through the timing of it all. Here are our computer models. Again, that low pressure system off towards the east will pump in the moisture, but this will begin to move off towards the east as this cool front pushes that system away, and then we welcome the next one. But this is a more strong cool front. It gets here late morning into the early afternoon hours. Now, initially, it provides some isolated showers across eastern Utah. Colder air continues to push through. Come tomorrow evening, we really get things going here across northern central, west central Utah. You're seeing that line of showers, which will impact here the Wasatch Front from Ogden down through Provo, but we're talking tomorrow night and then overnight through Wednesday morning. We wake up Wednesday morning, we're still seeing some rain that could impact your morning commute through central Utah in the early morning and then exiting off throughout the day. So this storm kind of has a window between Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday morning, and then it exits the state. So looking at your hour-by-hour forecast come tomorrow, look at these temperatures. Yeah, we start warming up, and then the cooler air begins to happen near the noon hour, so we kind of suppress those afternoon highs. We'll keep temperatures well below, well, I shouldn't say well below normal, but cooler. We'll be looking at 70s here in Salt Lake City and Provo. Still temperatures in the 70s to 80s across southern Utah. Scattered rain showers, especially as we go late afternoon into the evening. St. George, there's that chance of showers both Tuesday and Wednesday. Scattered, not persistent, and then it clears out. Sunny skies and temperatures look to warm up. Northern Utah, we look at 70s to 60s, even through Thursday. Again, as we get into Wednesday afternoon, it clears out quite nicely, and then temperatures warm up back in the mid-70s for the weekend.
Before we get to sports, we are tracking some breaking news in South Jordan right now. Police have not confirmed what has happened, but they have closed 104th South near 2200 West in South Jordan. This is a live look at the scene where Fox 13 photojournalist Mike Rank is waiting for information from police. You can see there is a very heavy police presence, and I believe this is looking along 104th South, near 2200 West. Of course, we will keep you updated as to what is going on here, and as soon as we get more information, we will pass it on to you either here on Fox 13 News at 9 or on fox13now.com.
Well, the Jazz start training camp tomorrow in Las Vegas. Today they had media day. Jazz are 100% vaccinated and hoping for big things this season after finishing with the best record of the NBA last season, only to get knocked out in the second round of the playoffs.
I think it's a big year. I think this is, in my 5 years, I think this is probably one of the biggest for us. I think after the performance we had last year in the regular season, the work we've put in, and obviously coming up short last year, we weren't necessarily in everybody's eyes top 8. Now we're here and people see us as that, and it's for us. We got to continue to do what we do, but come out with a fire and a hunger.
We really feel like we have an opportunity to do something special in the next few years. You don't get that many of those windows in your career, so it's a great opportunity for us, no matter what happens, to really try to be the best we can be. And after all those years of losing, learning, being part of a group that wants to do something even better, it's exciting.
Well, I think it helps to have a veteran presence on this team in regards to realizing that this doesn't last forever, that you have to take advantage of each day, each opportunity. A little luck here, injury free here, and we have to be ready to embrace it.
This season is going to be its own season, and its own. Rack up the wins in the regular season, grow during the regular season, get to the playoffs, get out the first round, get out the second round, get out the West Coast, and then try to get to the final. So, that's how it's got to be broken up into, and we can't look past nothing, and we got to stick to that.
The BYU-Utah State football teams will renew their in-state rivalry this Friday night in Logan. While the Cougars are 4-0 and ranked 13th in the country, the Aggies are 3-1 and looking to play better after a disappointing loss to Boise State.
A rivalry game that we're looking forward to and missed last year, so I'm happy that we can get this game going, and had some really cool interactions with Blake, and I see what he's doing as a head coach and the way he's getting his players to play. It'll be a fun game to go up there on a Friday night, and looking forward to the game.
And they present a million problems. Clearly the best built football team we have played. It'll just ramp it up another notch this week. I don't know what they're ranked now, but it's high, and it's warranted because they're playing great ball.
It's a big night for former Bingham Miner Dalton Schultz and the Dallas Cowboys. Schultz got 2 touchdown passes against the Philadelphia Eagles, this one in the first quarter, then another in the fourth. A nice run after this catch. The Cowboys beat the Eagles 41-21. We'll be right back.
We are going to have some nice weather to bring in October at the end of the week.
Yeah, a little cooler, a little rain tomorrow, but nice weekend.
I think I'm ready for it.
Yep, we all are.
Sweater weather.
Quickcast is up next.